Now let's take this to the wood. You ever take something to the wood?
I have been lately.
How you take someone to the woodshed? You take somebody to the woodshed? I've been taking the old wall to the woodshed for like 18 years. Okay, so this is bond yields. This is a chart of bond yields, all right? Let's do the 10-year yield. The 10-year yield most recently broke through trend, which is 4.39%, right? So this is what this 10-year bond yield started to do after that, all right? Then it went to its cycle low. Today it's here, 4.27, right? 4.27. See that? But the low end of the range is down here at 4.11. So we go back to that prior chart. Why wouldn't you stay to if you know what the river card is? If you're playing a game of poker and you can play as much money as you can, and you knew what the river card is, like the house does, would you play? Oh, yeah. Why would you walk away? Oh, because the other players at the table look mad and nervous. Even better. I mean, so this is the setup, and there'll be a next play after that, but this is the one that we're in, okay? So playing 427 to 411, if that actually pays out, is number one, a high probability event in our model. And number two, it's imminent, so you can use short-term options. And number three, if and when it happens, nobody should be surprised, right? So it's a lot better to make high probability bets with leverage than it is to make bets that are just levered bets on low probabilities. That's basically what gamblers do, right? So that's not what we want to do. You want to be like the dude here, right? You want to be like so hardcore, right? You want to understand that there are times to act quickly and there are times to act slowly. I tend to like my enemies to die slowly. It's like Mobland. And then sometimes quickly, right? That's the way you do it. But you gotta figure out the difference between the two. So,
and position size accordingly.
Yes, I was only thinking about Mobland because we are talking about killing people.
Yes.
Right? The guy would kill you if he chose to.
Yeah, yes.
This macro process will kill the macro tourist. Not 100% of the time, but most of the time, okay? One other thing on bond yields.
Yes.
We have a new guy in town.
Okay.
Now, this is kind of little narrative stuff maybe, but not really. I mean, it puts this number in context. So do you think, and I want to see if I can make sure I'll remember a forgettable name, which most people at the Fed have been historically to me. His name is Stephen, is it Moran or Milan? And some people who know everything about the plumbing are like, that McCullough guy doesn't even know how to pronounce the name. Meanwhile, the person couldn't save themselves from a bond yield chart if their life depended on it.
Myron.
Stephen Myron from Boston University and Harvard. Okay. Now, he has some redeeming qualities. He, last I checked, was against what Powell did in terms of money printing coming out of the pandemic. He was against what the Treasury did under Janet Yellen, which was pure unadulterated political bias, with the deficit and the debt. So you actually put a hawk in the seat, right? So we had a Federal Reserve person who starts with a K, I don't care what the name is. Again, these are forgettable people, unelected, unaccountable people. Change the names, whatever. But they put the guy in there, you replace somebody with a hawk, right? So what that does is that it ups the probability of this, because it ups the probability of what? There was a probability that you didn't put a hawk in there, that you put a dove in and said that that's the next Fed chair. You following me? So now this is going to force the narrative of Wall Street to say, well, Waller has a better chance. Now, as you know, Waller is bought and paid for, completely dovish. He's going to cut rates as soon as he gets appointed. If he gets appointed, he doesn't have to wait. He'll just talk about it, right? So you have all in this same immediate term window, you have the political component, which is if and when the number comes in light, CPI, if you're going to see max pressure on Pump versus Powell. He already says he's stupid. Like, he uses the word stupid, right? Right? I mean, kind of aggressive, not really in my vernacular, but whatever. I mean, what do you think he's going to do after the jobs report and the CPI report missed? and he's already appointed a hawk to the Fed who's not going to be the new head of the Fed. They're going to talk about Waller, and they're going to talk about anybody else who can cut rates, like David Malpass, anybody. So there's a political, when we do this whole game, I'm not actually giving you a narrative. I know what this number is, I know what this number is. Therefore, I'm trying to front run the Fed on that number. That's why we call the quads the GIP model, the growth inflation policy model. So again, if I'm front running a lower than expected inflation number, what I'm really trying to do is tell you what these political hacks and the pump himself, what they're going to do. It's proactively predictable because it's political.